Welcome to Wisdom Trek with Gramps. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, and we are on day 2723 of our trek. The purpose of Wisdom Trek is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, and to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. The title of today's Wisdom Trek is The Eternal Throne, God's Unbreakable Promise to David. A trek through Psalm 89, 19-29. This psalm, a Maskil of Ethan the Ezrahite, is the grand meditation on the Davidic Covenant. In our previous conversations, we've heard the psalmist anchor his hope in God's eternal unfailing love and faithfulness. He established God's cosmic power as the guarantor of this promise, declaring that God rules the oceans, owns the heavens and the earth, and that righteousness and justice are the very foundation of his throne. Now, the psalm moves to the actual historical declaration of the covenant itself. God speaks directly to the prophet, recalling the moment he chose David, anointed him, and laid out the spectacular, eternal nature of the promise. This section details the divine foundation of David's kingdom, promising an unwavering presence, decisive victories, and a dynasty that will endure longer than the heavens. This is the unbreakable contract that is meant to sustain Israel's hope, even when all else fails. So, let's open our hearts and minds to this profound divine revelation, recognizing the depth of God's commitment to his chosen king. The first section is God's sovereign choice and anointing. Psalm 89, 19-21. You once spoke to your faithful prophets in a vision and said, I have raised up a warrior who is mighty, chosen him from the people. I have found my servant David. I have anointed him with my sacred oil. I will steady him with my hand. With my powerful arm, I will make him strong. The psalm now shifts to a recollection of the original prophetic vision that established the covenant. The psalmist reminds the people that God didn't make this promise lightly. He spoke in a vision to his faithful prophets, or saints, referencing those in the divine council who hear and proclaim God's decrees. God announces his sovereign choice. I have raised up a warrior who is mighty, chosen him from the people. This directly references David's humble beginnings. David was not chosen from a royal line or a place of prominence. He was chosen from the people, from the fields, as a mere shepherd, defying all human expectation. Yet God elevates him, recognizing his internal character, describing him as a warrior who is mighty. God confirms his personal relationship and investment. I have found my servant David. I have anointed him with my sacred oil. The search was complete. God found the man after his own heart. The act of anointing with sacred oil was a powerful physical symbol of divine setting apart, establishing David as the Mashiach, the Anointed One. This act transforms a shepherd into a king, placing him under God's direct, exclusive authority. This divine commission is immediately accompanied by a promise of unwavering support and strength. I will steady him with my hand, with my powerful arm, I will make him strong. God promises to personally steady David, to stabilize his reign against all threats, and to grant him power with his powerful arm. David's strength would not come from his own might, but from God's own irresistible power. This is the ultimate security guarantee for the king and the dynasty. The second section is the promise of dominion and divine protection. Psalm 89, 22-25. His enemies will not defeat him. The wicked will not conquer him. I will crush his foes before him and strike down those who hate him. My faithfulness and unfailing love will be with him, and I will increase his power. I will extend his rule over the sea, his dominion over the rivers. God promises David absolute victory and protection against every conceivable adversary. The assurance is direct and comprehensive. His enemies will not defeat him. The wicked will not conquer him. This is an unwavering guarantee of invincibility for the chosen king. No military force, no political plot, no internal rebellion, no external wickedness can ever overcome the king, whom God has anointed. God promises to take direct, personal action against David's enemies. I will crush his foes before him and strike down those who hate him. God does not delegate this fight. He says, I will crush. This is the same power that smashed Rahab and tamed the chaos of the oceans. Psalm 89:10. The destruction of David's enemies is a direct display of God's power, executed on behalf of His chosen servant. The foundation for this victory is rooted entirely in God's character. My faithfulness and unfailing love will be with him, and I will increase his power. David's success is a consequence of God's perpetual presence, faithfulness, emunah, and unfailing love, ezed, are committed to David, walking with him as divine guardians. Because of these attributes, God promises to increase his power, Hebrew, ram, to exalt or lift high. This exaltation leads to unprecedented dominion. I will extend his rule over the sea, his dominion over the rivers. This promise surpasses the historical kingdom of David. It speaks of a vast dominion controlling the sea, symbolic of chaos and the ends of the known world, and the rivers, the boundaries of foreign lands. This vision of universal rule is messianic. It looks forward to the ultimate Son of David, Jesus, whose dominion truly extends to the entire earth. God promises David a kingdom that is not only secure, but globally extensive. The third section is the vows of God and the firstborn status. Psalm 89, 26-29. And he will cry out to me, "You are my Father, my God, and the rock of my salvation. I will declare him to be my firstborn, the mightiest of all kings on earth. I will love him with unfailing love forever. My covenant with him will never be broken. I will establish his dynasty forever. His throne will endure as long as the heavens." God then reveals the intimate reciprocal relationship established by this covenant. And he will cry out to me, "You are my Father, my God, and the rock of my salvation." This is David's voice, responding to the immense honor of the covenant. The relationship shifts from servant to son. David addresses God with supreme intimacy. My Father, expressing trust and dependence. My God, expressing loyalty and worship. And the rock of my salvation, expressing absolute reliance on God's stability and power to save. This relationship of sonship is the pinnacle of the Davidic Covenant. In turn, God grants David an exalted status among all creation. I will declare him to be my firstborn, the mightiest of all kings on earth. The term firstborn Beor in this context signifies preeminence, supreme rank, and authority regardless of birth order. God is declaring David and his dynasty to be the highest human authority, the mightiest of all kings on earth. This title echoes the supremacy of the divine council itself, positioning David as the ultimate earthly ruler, sanctioned by the Most High. God then seals the covenant with a powerful, comprehensive assurance of its eternal nature. I will love him with unfailing love forever. My covenant with him will never be broken. I will establish his dynasty forever. His throne will endure as long as the heavens. The promise is absolute. God's unfailing love, ezed, is eternal forever. The covenant will never be broken, a profound assertion of divine integrity. The dynasty is perpetual, forever. The throne is guaranteed to endure as long as the heavens, echoing verse 2, tying the promise to the permanence of the cosmos. This section concludes the central argument of Psalm 89. God's promise to David is not conditional on human performance, but on God's own eternal character, his hesed, and his cosmic power. This is the unshakable foundation of hope that must stand against all present darkness and fear, even the despair Heman expressed in Psalm 88. If you found this podcast insightful, please subscribe and leave us a review. Then encourage your friends and family to join us and come along tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, mentor, and, most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through this Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. As we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you next time for more daily wisdom.